I simply cannot put into words just how exciting it is to have a lodge full of the very best trophies we've had over the last 6+ years and still have plenty of space yet to fill. I'm super excited for the next iteration of this Let's Go Trophy Hunting series, and it starts by finally getting the Flinter bow on the wall here. Last time, we ended up with the orange pulsar. I'm not sure how I did that incorrectly, but we've got the lodge, and the main thing I want to focus on are the elk skull mounts. There are, I believe, 16 spaces for these across the lodge, and I believe we only have 6 in here. It can be Rocky Mountain elk or Roosevelt's, so we're going to go to Timbergold today, and I don't necessarily want to commit to just one map for the entirety of this hunt. If we get a couple good Rockies, or if we have no luck with them, we may switch it up and perhaps hunt for birds. There's a lot of empty bird plaques in this lodge that we could definitely fill. And already, we've got a pretty nice bull elk coming in. We've got 320 to 370 on the estimate, and that begs the question, what is the size of Rocky Mountain elk that we're looking for a skull mount? I think for Roosevelt, 350, at least as a placeholder for now, would be good. For Rockies, we're probably wanting to get at least a 370 if we want to do a skull mount. Now, I do want to check. That's still the same bull, so pretty sure there's just the one. And if we can get a shot at him here, we'll definitely try to go for that. Typically, when it's raining, the wind is a little stronger. If it were calm, we'd have probably even taken that 40-meter shot, but that's going to be a little safer. The cow didn't even know anything happened, and on the off chance there's another bull back there that's been completely silent, he should still be coming in, but either way, I think we'll bring the cow in. If it's just her, we'll take that out. And if there's an extra bull, we still have that chance. And best I can tell, it is just the cow. So it is an opportunity for one more harvest with the Flinter bow. So maybe we can pull that off real quick. And we can see what that bull is going to be. I think he had a couple of short tines. I want to say only one back tine. So probably, oh, he does have 2 back tines. At least on one side. No, they're both actually kind of even too. I still think at best he goes like 340. Double long shot him though, 358. Not too bad, but what is walking? Probably another cow because we kind of ran up here. I hear another one to the left too. This could be interesting. She was sort of stuck there for a second, which would not have been a bad deal, but I think gonna sneak that shot in there. Whatever else is coming in still didn't spook. It's either standing there staring us down somewhere and we just can't see it, or maybe it did spook, but I never heard anything. Either way, I think we'll grab these 2 cows, and if it is somewhere there still staring at us, we'll at least be able to see it flee or get tracked. But I'm sure there was another animal down to the left. Maybe it was another bull coming in, and I didn't get to talk about it because we heard the footsteps. My goodness. Not too bad for elk right outside the lodge here. Let's scoot down and try to get those tracks, and we might call again just in case there's a bull with that. But that first one going 358, it must have been a really nice frame. Just kind of some short tines and stuff, otherwise he might have been at 380 for a skull mount. And we've got confirmation that was a bull. So it would make sense that he fled from that. Typically you can get away with it like 30 meters or so with cows. Bulls a lot of times will spook, so we're gonna forget about that other cow that just called and try to figure out where this guy went. Good thing that didn't take very long because that bull is nowhere near the size of not only the one that we already got, but also nowhere near the size of anything that we're going to be trying to put in the lodge. So, fortunately, able to drop him. I haven't heard that other cow call anymore, so I'm guessing we got out of render of that, and frankly, I think it's probably good to get moving and kind of get beyond a couple hundred meters from the lodge. So we'll grab this guy really quickly, and just a little unfortunate he was a bit better than that, but ended up with a double long shot at 34 meters, a 183 score for that, and hopefully that is the smallest one that we get all day. That's looking a little bit better, however, no back tines to be found on that guy, and I think these tines are a little short, not as bad as the 358, but still not going to get us quite to where we're after. I do like what we're kind of getting at though. 30 minutes in, we've had 3 bull elk, 1 over 350 already, and we haven't even made it to where we're trying to go. I want to get basically down across to here, and we'll start to make a decision as to where we go once we reach that point, but we're just stumbling into elk after elk, and so far with the bow we've been able to take him out quietly and not spook anything else. This guy is going to be a 319 score, so another decent one, and hopefully we can keep this up. If we get that many bulls, one of them is bound to score high. Now, while the stated goal of today's hunt is to get skull mounts for elk, and we actually do have a bull elk standing right there, the other main goal of the Let's Go Trophy Hunting series for Timbergold is still very much in play, and that is to get a 400 scoring non-typical. We've actually got two really nice bucks here, 190 to 220, and I think 195 to 220, and we've got the 9.3. Now, I've got a box of rounds with 10 in it, because I don't think one's going to get this done, but we may try to find a way to get both. And this could not have gone better. This buck is just coming right across the water here, and the others are still over on the other side. The only thing is, there's 3 bucks here, so there should be 5 in total. There's almost no way that there's 3 solo bucks all in the same area, so we probably want to wait and see what else comes out of there. But in the meantime, we can try to drop this guy with a bow, and if he does end up not dropping from this, we can grab the 9.3 and take out the other. But we are completely silent there. Got that guy down. And we'll wait and see if there's any more back there. Hopefully we can see him, and I do hear something else sneaking in. Got a mule deer doe coming in there. I think we can even just let that spook. It shouldn't affect anything over here, because I really want to see what else is over there. That said, it looks like just 3. There's nothing else coming out of the trees over there. So I'm going to say we can just go ahead and take this guy with the 9.3. We could 100% bring him in and take him with a bow. Hang on. That could be a problem. Just based on how things are spaced out, let's scoot towards the bigger buck. Maybe we can make a slightly longer shot on him, like 40 meters or so, if he stops. And if we luck out, maybe that one that just grunted doesn't hear this. Seems kind of unlikely, but we'll see what happens. We're getting into close to 30 already. Oh, we spooked. So, okay. Saw him. He wasn't huge, I don't think. And that's the other buck there. So I think that was a solo on the left. I don't know what is going on right now. Bucks absolutely everywhere. But it looked to me like maybe a 150-ish. I'm really not sure. For a second it looked big, but then when it really got going, I'm pretty sure it was quite average. That's a 202. So this other guy's going to outscore him, I'm almost certain. They look like essentially the exact same frame. The only difference is the 202 that we just harvested had a short beam. This guy, I'm pretty sure, has the full length beam, so maybe 210-ish? We'll see what we actually have here. Managed a double long shot at 33 meters on the walk, 203 in fact. 2 200s back to back actually from the same herd is never a bad deal. And we'll just keep on moving up through here. I think as we kind of continue from this point, we should start to see both Rocky Mountain elk and mule deer. At the rate we're going, we might be able to get some good ones. And we've got yet another buck coming in. However, we're not going to try to take this one. We've got a bull elk too, because why not? But the buck that we just had grunt and then spook actually came into this call as well. He called again. We got the rediscovered trail, and this is him. He's not bad, up to 200. Probably going to be maybe like a 185. And there were more bucks coming in. Got one up to 155 there. That was a smaller one. They're literally all over the place. And then we got to figure out that bull elk, because that is not the same one that we spotted across the lake over there. And perhaps now we can finally crack out the 9.3 and make use of it. We still have this other buck coming in as well, but I think we'll go ahead and take this bull. The one thing about elk, you see he's 325 to 340 kilo. We would be able to remember that just simply by spotting him, but mule deer are a little bit different. Like, that buck's going to be lighter weight. Basically, every bull elk is at or near the max weight estimate, so I think it's probably better to take that one out so that if we get a call or track later, it's not going to be from this one. So 194, and then we have yet another decent mule deer buck down on this side, and that'll make 3 from this area. They're going to go at least 180, 2 over 200, and this guy goes 181.7, double lunged him at 30 meters, and we can finally start to make our way a little bit to the southeast of this tent, which we got stuck here so long, and that was part of the reason I wanted to use the gun, go ahead and spook some stuff and get moving, because we are an hour into this hunt. And if, on a straight line, we're 1.5 kilometers from where we started. At the risk of jinxing the rest of this hunt, this is really feeling like old Timbergold prior to the release of Grey Wolves. Just antler absolutely everywhere. And this isn't even like a very big elk for Rockies. Might crack 300, but I think he's going to be in the 280s area. It's just pretty consistent. We run into bulls or bucks every couple hundred meters. We did get a neckbone shot there, 293 still. And I'm thinking actually of fast traveling back down into this area. This is a pretty good spot for both mule deer and elk as well. We have a little bit of time until we can fast travel. So we'll make the most of that and keep on moving up through here. But we've made it almost all the way up the river. And by the way, we have ignored a lot of like small bucks and small bulls, just kind of letting them go. I really hope there's as much stuff down like on the southern end of the map, because it feels like we're seeing way more bucks and bulls than normal. Well, I will say, perhaps one of the reasons it's felt like the old days of Timbergold is that all the mule deer does seem to be down in this area. But even despite that, we've got a couple of bucks here, one that's maybe 140s or 150s, and then this one, which I think is going to go over 190s, 170 to 195, but a really nice frame, one short main beam. Probably keeps him from being right in that like 202, 203 area as well. So real quick, gonna get that shot in before he gets under the stand. That is going to send does running absolutely everywhere. And that's maybe the one negative to ending up taking this buck. We might spook a lot of stuff around that we haven't seen yet. However, it is going to be another pretty nice one, 193 for him. And that's now our fourth buck, I think, that goes over 180. So we're going to try to get like up into this area. I really want to check around these three lakes. And the good news is it looked like most of the does kind of went around that. I mean, that's not a bad bull elk there, 305 to 360. And they're all spooked by a pack of wolves. Now, I haven't seen the wolves, but there were a bunch of elk running around over here. I don't know if the others are visible anymore, but I think we're going to have to go with the gun here as well. So while he's standing there, of course, he's going to walk down a little bit into the brush. We'll try to get in with the 9.3. I think either if he just walks all the way through that, we can go for it, or even if he sort of stops in there like that, we can see well enough. And although that shot felt maybe a touch low, I think it'll get him. Maybe hit him with one more for good measure, but there's a lot of antler down there too. For what it's worth, I absolutely think that second shot was necessary, but that track was a giant pain. And you know, this is a great frame, like a really solid frame. No back tines to accompany it. That was 219 yards front leg, 253 yards in the body, ends up being a 310. Some back tines could have pushed him around that 350 area. I think we're going to go ahead and try to get down to this little lake or pond over here. This is where things can kind of get interesting. As we start to pass through this thicker vegetation, I guess one thing we could find are more mule deer bucks. But with all the bull elk that were in this area, fleeing from wolves and the one that fled from our shot near the one that we just killed, if we're just calling out blindly, we're almost going to have to bring everything in close until we know what it is. And there's at least three, like 280 to 310 bulls in this area that ideally I'd like to just kind of pass up, but we're just not going to know since we can't see. Now, I'm not really sure what happened to that buck. Maybe wolves spooked him, maybe he just decided to take a nap in the middle of the day. I have no idea why he wouldn't come in, but I decided to basically head to what's going to be the last leg of this hunt, kind of walking towards a particular outpost. And we're going to try to get this bull. It's a good area for elk, so I'm hoping we can maybe get a couple more. But if we can make this drop shot, that's going to work just fine. So essentially, I've fast traveled down to this tent in the southeast, and we're working our way up kind of through this area to that outpost. We should be able to encounter a number of elk up through here, and hopefully we can get an even better one than we started with. I realize that we are at now 13 kills. Not sure how many of them are bull elk, but I would say more than half. It still remains that the very first bull we killed is our biggest one, so 290 there. And like I said, hopefully we can find at least one or two more on our journey back to the outpost. Ooh, no, that might change things up a little. There's a bull elk standing right there that is not impressive, but what I'm afraid of is exactly that. Are they going to chase him, or is he just going to flee? Because he got down in that spot where we couldn't actually spot him. I'm not sure that a collar is going to be the move. A lot of times they will be a good bit behind the elk as well when they chase them. Is that him right there? I think it is. That is him. That weight and square estimate are really, really encouraging. So, we may spook elk with this. We have to take it just in case. If that's mid-16s, that can 100% go in the lodge. I'm trying to think. There were 9 medium platforms in the new Texas lodge, and I want to say what we have them filled with is not necessarily indicative of the best trophies we could have. I also still haven't had the time to go through absolutely everything and really kind of customize that lodge. Hopefully I can do that before the next video. But this might end up being an addition. If he is in that like 85 kilo range, even 80, he could be there. And wouldn't that just be ironic considering I was talking about this being like a pre-wolf release Timbergold hunt? Let's see. 79.5 kilo. 16.4 is... it's a nice wolf. And still worthy of a trophy shot for sure. I want to say we've got a couple bigger than that. Now as for the trophy shot, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I think we're going to go with it. And we're going to keep on moving up here. We are getting fairly close to the lodge. Don't know if it's visible yet, but it's basically just up on top of this hill. So probably still some room, some elk that were maybe beyond hearing range of that shot that we may be able to encounter. But there's a chance that could be the last kill. We'll see. And so, here we are, back at the Trophy Lodge, unfortunately, with no new elk skulls to put up here. Despite the fact that that 358, the very first one we shot, I think would be bigger than all the skulls that we have at the moment. Most of these are from right when the skull mounts came out. We taxed a bunch of them just to kind of see what they look like. I couldn't do it. As amazing as this lodge is, I think setting the precedent of a 358 Rocky as like one that we would do a skull mount of, just isn't something we should do. We can absolutely do better than that, and hopefully this week on the classic stream over on Twitch, we can get back to elk hunting and maybe pull that off. All that said though, this was easily a top 3 Let's Go Trophy Hunting hunt in general. I don't know how many elk we had over 300, at least 4. We had 4 mule deer over 180, 2 of those were 200 plus, antler absolutely everywhere, and a 16.4 wolf. Like, as far as quality of the animals we shot today, and the amount of good quality ones, we don't have a lot of hunts like that, so definitely not going to complain, and hopefully next time we can see some elk just a little bit bigger, so we can put those on the wall. And speaking of the mule deer, by the way, if we ever get like whitetail, mule deer, blacktail skulls, that's something I would love to do as well, and a 200 mule deer, at least for now as we would get started, would be a great skull mount to put somewhere in here. There's still space, like maybe in areas that they don't already have mounts, they could consider doing deer skulls one of these days. But anyway, I think on that note, that is going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.